Good evening and welcome to a night of championship boxing at the Ulster Hall in Belfast. Eamon Loughran of Northern Ireland defending his WBO welterweight championship against the American Tony Ganarelli. Paul Jones against Danny Juma, our chief support, and the bout you will see first for the WBO Intercontinental Light Middleweight Championship. Good evening, welcome to ringside at the Ulster Hall. David Brenner, Nicky Piper with you, and this is Paul Silky Jones, the WBO Intercontinental Light Middleweight Champion. We saw him win the title on Pro Box, a devastating one-round bomb-out of Damien Denny. Tonight, the first defense of his title. There's Silky Jones in the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and there's the big bopper.
12 3-minute rounds of boxing to decide the WBO Light Middleweight Intercontinental Championship, sponsored by McEwen's. Introducing to you in the red corner, wearing the blue trunks with white trim, with a record of 19 contests, 14 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. Last evening, he weighed in at 10 stone, 13 pounds, 12 ounces. Ladies and gentlemen, from Ghana, fighting out of Belfast, will you welcome, please, Danny Juma!
And that's the challenger.
Juma. Ladies and gentlemen, in the blue corner, wearing the red trunks, with a record of 31 contests, 22 wins, 8 by way of knockout, 8 losses, 1 draw. Last evening he weighed in at 10 stone, 13 pounds exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, he's from London. He is the reigning Intercontinental WBO Light Middleweight Champion. Will you welcome, please, to Belfast, once again, the fabulous Paul Silky Jones!
Now the scene is set.
The judges for this contest are as follows. Judge number 1, Roy Francis from London. Number 2, Arthur Ellensohn from Germany. Judge number 3, Manuel Marachalar from San Sebastian in Spain. Your referee is Mr. Paul Thomas from Derby, and your timekeeper from Hillsborough, Dale Elliott.
So the scene is set. Paul Thomas of Derby in England is the referee for this scheduled 12-round bout. And a little bit of the old madam there. Well, that's all forgotten once the first bell goes. Juma, the challenger from Ghana in the blue trunks, and Paul Jones from Sheffield originally, now fighting out of London in the red trunks, is the champion. Nicky, how do you see this one going?
Well, Paul Silky Jones is known as a great boxer. Never really known as a puncher, but that last win of his against Damien Denny was a fantastic shock, really, to take Denny out in 1 round. Denny, of course, a great boxer. So we may be seeing a different Silky Jones tonight, looking for the power.
Well, early in his career, Paul Jones was with the Brendan Ingalls stable, where a boxer is taught that defense is paramount, and we never really suspected that he had a punch, and he got a little bit disillusioned, Silky Jones. He lost a couple of fights that he should have won, and he got disillusioned. He dropped out of the game for a couple of years, and he came back with Barry Hearn's Matchroom stable, and since he's been with Matchroom and then with his new trainer Freddie King, he's really been a changed man. He's suddenly from nowhere developed a punch, and he's a dangerous fighter now.
Yes, well, I sparred with him about 4 months back. He came to Wales for a few days, and his boxing was fantastic, and he was telling me then that he wasn't really didn't think of himself as a puncher, but I'm sure, as I said, after the last win, he's going to be feeling confident. But boxing is his main weapon. Great mover.
But make no mistake, he's up against a dangerous opponent in Danny Juma, who has fought some decent fighters in his 19-fight career. Likes of Robin Reed, Adrian Dodson, in the trip with both.
Yes, he's always well prepared. A very fit man.
And if he hits you, you tend to stay hit. And if there was one question mark about Jones in his early career, it was that he was susceptible against big punches. So this is an interesting fight.
Yes, some of the Brendan Ingle trained boys, they all have this same style. I suppose the classic one is Harold Graham, of leaning back out of the way of punches. And if you have the ability to do that properly, then it's a great defense. But if you don't, sometimes you get caught flush on the chin and you'll go over.
And never was that fact better illustrated than when we saw Palmer Graham against Julian Jackson for the world title in Spain, a fight that was won. It was his.
That's right.
And then he walked into just about the best punch I have ever seen thrown. And, well, the rest, as they say, was history.
That's right. I mean, you saw it in slow motion, and Palmer Graham was unconscious in midair as he was dropping.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's quite right. So an exploratory opening round this. Both boys obviously respecting each other, just feeling each other out. Long way to go yet, 12 rounds. And welcome back to ringside at the Ulster Hall. David Brennett, Nicky Piper with you here in Belfast. Just a reminder, we're watching a 12-rounder, the WBO Intercontinental Light Middleweight Championship. Paul Silky Jones, the champion from England in the red trunks, defending his title against Danny Juma from Ghana in the blue. This is round 7, and Paul Jones in front at the moment. And I think it's fair to say, Nicky, that Juma hasn't really been able to come to terms with Jones's style in this fight so far.
No, Jones is a great mover, and he's continually kept Juma confused, and Juma's a little bit one-paced, really. He's not really able to change his style, but he's always dangerous. He's a very big puncher and very fit.
Well, as you can see, it's Juma trying to make the running, and every so often he'll get through and he'll catch Jones, but it's the volume of punches that Jones is throwing. He's never stopping working, and occasionally he'll just bring Juma up. He'll clip him about the head and body, and he's just that little bit too cute. Interesting to see how the judges score this. We have an English judge, a German judge, and a Spanish judge. Sounds like the beginnings of a joke, that, but there you go. One from England, one from Spain, one from Germany. The referee is Paul Thomas of England, who does not score. And I'd say that after the opening 6 rounds, Jones may be a round, possibly 2 in front.
Well, I think Jones is boxing. I mean, what he's doing, it looks very cute. Good to watch for the crowd, but he's got caught on the left hook there, and he's boxing a little dangerously for myself. And I'd like to see him just stick to the jab and keep away from Juma. He's mixing it a little bit too much, getting too close.
Yes, when you do have a style like Paul Jones does, you tend to carry your hands a bit low, sway away from punches from the waist. It's a little bit too easy to get caught sometimes. You won't find the style in any coaching manual, and it's not the sort of thing that any youngster wants to try and copy.
No, he moves a lot when he's inside, rolls left and right. But he's going to move on to a punch sooner or later. Maybe not this fight, but that's probably why in his early career he was taken out a few times.
Now, Paul Jones, as you can probably see, has picked up a cut around the right eye. And this could dramatically alter the substance of the fight inside the last 30 seconds of round 7. And I think that was caused by the big left hook that Juma landed early in this round. And that's a nasty-looking cut.
Does look nasty. Caught Juma with a great right hand a few seconds ago. Oh, he's a good punches.
So Jones always got Juma in trouble now. But he may have left it just a little bit too late in this round, because there is the bell. But a good finish to that round from Jones. But the downside is that he has got himself a nasty-looking cut on the right eye. Freddie King working on it. Welcome back. Round 11 now of this WBO Intercontinental Light Middleweight Championship bout. Paul Jones from England defending his title against Danny Juma in the blue trunks from Ghana. Paul Jones picked up a cut we saw a moment or so ago in round 7, but Freddie King in the champion's corner has done really a pretty decent job in keeping that cut in manageable proportions.
Juma's going to come on very strongly in these last 2 rounds. He's extremely fit, and if he's got any chance at all, these 2 rounds is where he'll actually win the fight. Silky Jones has moved very well for the first 10 rounds, and surely must be feeling the pace now.
Well, Silky Jones has gone 10 in his career before. He hasn't gone 12. So this is unknown territory for him now.
Yes, he's holding a bit now. He's feeling the pace, but still moving well. Seems to be in full control.
But he does get caught a little bit too often, for my way of thinking, and you can't help but wonder if he came up against a really big puncher, and he might find he hangs his chin out once too often.
Yes, you'll see him inside. As I say, it looks very pretty. He's stepping to the left, stepping to the right, and throwing punches all the while, but he's just that bit a little too open.
He moves beautifully.
He does, but he tends to move on to punches as well.
Yeah,
you know, you got to keep your hands up.
That's the other side of the coin, yeah. And as befits a big puncher, Juma's really done nothing wrong. He's gone looking for him. The work rate has been good, but it's the counter-punching skills of Jones that have held him in good stead. And being an unorthodox boxer, he throws shots from a bewildering variety of angles. In fact, sometimes I'm not even convinced that even he is too sure what he's going to do next.
Stop boxing! Stop boxing!
Very much an instinctive fighter. And I guess those are the hardest guys to fight against, Nicky.
Well, they are. They'll confuse you for most of the time, but then, as I say, he'll move on to a few punches which a steady, controlled fighter may not do. But he's got lightning reflexes, and as I say, he's a pleasure to watch. That's a great right hand.
Well, they're both getting pretty tired now. And I've still got Jones far enough in front, I think, to be reasonably confident that he's going to win this one. But you can never be too sure, especially when you get non-British judges, how they react to some of the tactics of Paul Jones.
Yes, he's clearly in front. Definitely a class above Juma. But Juma stayed in there right to the very end, and he's still punching away. Very strong, made it a very competitive affair.
Well, there we go. The ringside panel. Not all of those are judges, though. So, barring the unforeseen, Paul Jones should be just 3 minutes away now from retaining the title he won with a stupendous, no other word for it, stupendous first-round knockout in this self-same Ulster Hall ring against Damien Denny. Final round, Jones in red, Juma in blue. And Juma's got to go for broke now.
Yes, that's his only chance now to rush Silky Jones and get lucky. Beautifully proportioned, isn't he, Jones? Really well balanced.
He's a terrific fighter. He's still only 28. He's well, time is pretty much on his side, but I'm sure that that Freddie King and Alex Gower and George Patrick and the rest of the crew in the matchroom gym will want to tighten up that defence a little bit before he goes too much further up the ladder. I'm sure they've got him penciled in for higher things. Maybe not necessarily this year. They'll probably give him one more defence of this title, presuming he retains it. They'll give him one more defence this year, and then they'll be seeking real world titles next year. And I think they'll use the next 6 months, 9 months to really significantly try and tighten the defence up. I think they need to as well.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's hardly been hit in this fight. He's been that much better than Juma.
Yeah, well, he was nailed once and he got a cut eye.
Yes, you're right.
So we're midway through the final round then, and it looks as though Danny Juma is running out of steam and running out of ideas as well. Fought a good fight, as we come to expect from this tough little fella. Well, there's still a little bit of spring and bounce in Jones's step. And he knows he's got this fight in the bag now. He's content just to skip around the outside of the ring, keep out of trouble, protect that eye. Doesn't want to do anything silly like walk onto a big right hander, lose his title with just a minute or so of the fight remaining. He's too good a pro for that.
Yes, he's boxed very well.
And you heard Paul Thomas, the referee, trying to gee them up, saying, keep it going. And Jones just content to slip and slide and duck and dive.
Watch their shoulder, Jones. Got it up.
And we're inside the last 10. Even if there was a knockdown now, the count would not continue beyond the end of the round. There's the bell. And we await the decision of the three judges. The English judge, the German judge, Arthur Ellenson, and the Spanish judge. But I don't think there can be too many doubts that Jones has retained his title.
Look at the lump on the side of his head, Dave.
My goodness, when did that start coming up?
Oh, you just noticed that.
Well, that... I truly didn't notice that coming up in the last round.
It's come up in the last few moments.
But my goodness, just as well that 15-round fights are a thing of the past. Barry Earn looks pleased enough.
Oh, it's nasty.
Oh, that's grotesque. Oh, that's a fairly relaxed corner, isn't it?
I take it win. I take it win. I take it win on John Nelson's fight.
Yeah,
Well, it's almost like four fellas down the pub, isn't it? Sort of having a quiet little chat together. Great feeling being able to just relax in the corner, knowing you've won, and the result should be just a formality. Mark, you can. There's always this nagging doubt. There's always this nagging doubt that the judges haven't been watching the fight that you've been fighting in. And we've seen it happen before, and maybe I don't think it's going to happen this time,
no,
I've got to say, but we've seen some strange things, Nicky, in our time.
Yes, we have, but I think with a British fighter in a British ring, don't think we'll see it happen.
And Barney Eastwood there with his fighter Danny Juma, just waiting for the results to be tallied, go to the WBO supervisor. And I think we are just about ready.
That swelling is grotesque, isn't it?
Horrible.
Judge Arthur Ellenson scores that contest 120 109.
Oh, that's a shutout.
Roy Francis scores that contest 119 to 111.
Oh, big margins these.
And Manuel Marisolar scores it 119 to 110. In favor of Still.
Won it by a
the
street.
WBO Intercontinental Light Middleweight Champion, the fabulous Roy Paul Silky Jones.
Well, I don't know where Roy Paul comes in, but
Folks,
Paul Silky Jones
for an excellent loser
has retained his
Danny
title
Juma.
by a huge and overwhelming margin. He is still the WBO Intercontinental Light Middleweight Champ.